and welcome to That Squirrel Speaks. Today is Tuesday, August 27th, and this is episode 77. Ooh, 2777? Seems of import. What do you think? Seems like it, right? I don't know, maybe. Hello! I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry, or the Fat Squirrel, SQRRL, on Twitter and Instagram. You could find me there. There's things I say. What are they? I guess I should talk about shenanigans. I have a thank you, but I just realized I forgot to write it down, which is why I had that little pause there. Shenanigans. Do we have no shenanigans? Is it possible? Oh, we totally have no shenanigans. What's up with us? I mean, my household. Shenanigan fail. That's us. Yeah, though we have no shenanigans. My daughter got one of those rainbow looms. One of you told me to get one. Thank you. I looked at the YouTube videos and they looked kind of hard, and I was like, my child is very easily frustrated. She needs to get over that. So I was like, oh, I don't know about that. My daughter is 6, almost 7. Well, she'll be 7 in December. And so I was like, that might be a little difficult. But then other people were saying, and it's like, oh, dark. So I was like, okay. She does love a craft. So I was like, all right. So we broke down and bought the rainbow loom. Total hit. She's not done any of the fancies, because there's some fancy ones out there, yo. There's some fancy rubber band. If you don't know what this is, you probably do, because I think it was like on the Today Show or something. But we don't watch TV, so I don't know. I'm trying to see if it's handy. It's not. It's just like this little peg loom that's like this big-ish. And then it uses rubber bands, like colored rubber bands, and what is essentially a fancy crochet hook to make designs of sorts in another. And the kids can make, on the one, you can make like bracelets or whatever. But you can actually get, like, you can hook them together. They're made like to be modular, which that's very of them. They're made to be modular, so you can actually make a loom of whatever size you would like, ultimately. So you could make anything from bracelets to, like, handbags. Is it wrong that I secretly am like, like, what am I doing with a rubber band handbag? Just a challenge. But anyways, it's all these things. It's like, hold it. But she's had a grand old time. Now, again, she's just using the simplest method, which is relatively simple. But, I figure, hey, what the heck? She's making rubber band bracelets for everybody, which is a good time, if you ask me. So yes, we'd had crafty shenanigans. But I think that's all the shenanigans we've had. Because I've been so busy sewing. Right. My mama has been in town. So, like, I go down there. She's at the hotel that's not very far away from me. Her husband isn't here on business. So, like, I go down there and we sew together during the daytime while my little one's at school. And that's been the shenanigans. It's been fun. Just not really like shenanigans, Not like sparkly, jazzily, fireworky shenanigans. Just like shenanigans. Sometimes that's good. Actually, most of the time that's very good. Okay, so let's get to it. What? I'm actually going to talk about knitting before minute 27? I know, right? It's crazy. I'm totally wearing a finished object, have you noticed? Now, just so you know, it is not 40 degrees here. It is still August, and tomorrow's supposed to be 99. Or maybe it's 97. Too hot, one way or to another. But my hair was such a terrible hot mess. Like heat index of 137 hot mess. That it's really worth being a little extra warm today, just to wear my hat. I promise I don't have my air conditioner set on like 65. I promise. It's warm, but it's worth it. To hide my hair. Anyway, this is my North Lime hat. It's by Woolly Wormhead. Can you see the envelope closure in the back? I have no idea if you can see me. This may just be nothing. You may be only looking at my curtains. I'm not sure. Where's my hat? think you can see it. It's the North Lyme, and that's Lyme. She's fancy and stuff. By Woolly Wormhead, and it is knit with Miss Babs Northumbria DK in the Dreamweaver colorway. And it's knit on size, I think I did the brim on 1s and the body on 3s. I may be lying, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Okay, so how do I feel? I haven't, it has not been blocked yet. I love the texture of it. I love how the yarn is doing the texture. I love the brim ever so much. Technically, this is a DK, and the pattern is written for sport. So I think maybe, now I will also say, when I had it on earlier, this is how much yarn I had left. I didn't realize I had this like stuffed in the top of the hat so I could show you. So I felt like it was a little too rigid, but that may have just been because I had stuffing in it. Because I'm simple. But part of the reason it might be slightly more rigid is my gauge is correct, but technically this yarn is a DK and the pattern is written for sport. Now I think it could easily pass for sport, especially under any tension. You know what I mean? See how much, you know, I'm saying. And my gauge was correct, I said that already. But that might be, and also might relax a little bit when it's blocked. I don't know, because I haven't done it yet. But I think overall I am pleased. What do you think? I'm very pleased that I didn't have to fix my hair for you. So, in and of itself, that is a win. And I do really like, now again, this is technically DK, so I guess that point is totally moot. But I do love hats ever so much, and I'm on a new binge. Now, very cleverly, the iRockNets comment, I was like, I'm on a hat binge on Instagram. And she's like, did your last hat binge ever end? She did. I have gone at least several months without making a hat. So there, Corey, keep tabs on me. But yeah, no, it's back. It'll probably last another 9 months. I love hats, what can I say? It's fun. They're fun to make. You get to use a small amount of yarn, and they cover your really gnarly hair. What's one to love? Hello. I have another finished object for you. I totally did knitting instead of fitting first. Oops. I'm totally going to do a book review today. It's not formal. It'll be super cash, because that's how I do things. It's super cash. Read. Totally uninformed and unprofessional. Hush. These are my next finished object. These are the Seamless Saloma slippers. And that pad, oh, I missed a strand. A little slippy, like a little splitty strand. Was written up by Megan Williams of Stockinette Zombies and the lovely Rista 1313 of Girl Cave Bags. And so, here's my pair. This is what they look like. I can't wait to give these for Christmas because it's going to be so confusing for everybody. Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to totally be like, all right, everybody open the presents now! Because that's going to make me very happy to just have them all be like, I should totally offer a prize for who can figure out what they are. Ooh, I'll have to keep my family quiet. My daughter will totally mess that up. But that would be fun to offer a prize for who can figure out what they are, because people are going to be like, is it for the oven? Is it a hat? And then they'll be like, oh, this hat does not fit, and there's two. Okay, that's not right. Are they elbow pads? Is this for when I'm roller derbying? See, it'll be so much fun. Anyway, though, I finished a pair. I made mine, the pattern calls for worsted weight. I made mine with Barocco Vintage Chunky, which is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, 8% nylon. But again, they're slippers, and I'm not going to ask anybody to hand wash a slipper, including myself. I'm not pretending I'm better than that. 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, which is 130 yards. I have a size 11 foot, ladies 11. I made myself one size smaller than I would normally have. Does that make sense? Because again, the pattern was written in worsted weight yarn. I am using chunky or bulky or whatever the heck this is. My gauge, who knows? Whatever. And And I knit mine on US 6s. Again, I'm a super loose knitter, so that's like 8s or 9s for humans. And I went one size down for my foot, and they're still kind of a little bit roomy. Like maybe I should have actually gone down 2 sizes. I'm not sure. That'll come out when I do another practice. But the point of this is, this would actually probably fit up to, for ladies, I'm an 11. This would probably fit up to a men's 10.5, maybe 11. Because they're rather roomy on me. I also made mine a little taller because I have a very wide Fred Flintstone foot. And so I was afraid that, and I didn't really need to, I don't think. I think I could have made them the normal size. But I made mine a little bit taller than I was supposed to for my size because I was concerned about my very, very hobbity foot. But that said, I only used one skein. I totally had 3. Overprepared. But now I can make another pair. Shush. A hat. And a dog sweater. My dog's getting a crazy sweater from all these slipper leftovers. It's gonna be fun. I just wanted to let you know that now it was I barely got through the skate. I mean, I had like maybe this much left, you know. It was total yarn chicken, as the Stocking Eyed Zombies like to say. It wasn't because I had more, but I was just excited to get it done in one skein. So, is that what I needed to say? I think that's what I need to say. If you decide to go up to a chunky yarn, and the reason I decided to go up to chunky is I just like them to be a little squishier, like a little plusher. Like that. I want them to be very anime happy, I guess. Anime happy slippers. That's what I want. Does that need to be the name of the show? Anime happy slippers. I don't have anything to write with. I gotta remember that. Anime happy slippers. So yes, that's my other finished object. Okay, now I have spinning finished objects. I know, right? I'm doing great this week. Next week I'll have nothing. Don't peek. Oh, that was Barocco Vintage colorway. I said US 6s, right? I think so. This is colorway 61173. Okay, bag from Bling Your String. Okay, spinning. I have one spinning finished object that is part of a current work in progress, so I'll show you that in a minute. And that's the thing you've already seen a little bit before. But I have a totally thing that you've never even seen before. That's right. Ha! So this is 4 ounces of 3-ply. The other one I'm going to show you is my first actual real 3-ply. This is my second actual real 3-ply. As in not chain plied, but 3 different bobbins plied together. I love it! I listened to the sage J.C. Boggs, who said that it was okay if your long draw singles look totally whack-a-loony, as long as you plied them, as long as you over-plied them, like plied them to, I actually plied them to the point where I was like, oh, this is gonna be totally crazy. Like when it was like, and even when I put it on the skein winder, it was like, which is okay a little bit, but it was especially like, it was very energetic. It was like my childish yarn. But then I soaked it in very hot water with the wool soap, and I thwacked it, and now it's totally not even like, it's totally balancy style. So it could have been even a little over twisted. I would have been fine with that. I was just concerned that I had really gone crazy. But I think I'm totally, am I going to do it? You're asking what? I'm going to turn on the autofocus for a minute. Ooh, there we go. Is that really even helpful? I'm not sure. But man, these singles were totally wonky looking. Like, people are going to watch this and be like, there's no way it's August. I'm not even kidding you. It's very hot outside. I promise I don't have the air conditioner very high. I just like, oh, I was going to show you a picture of my singles on the bobbin. I know, and I kind of failed. I should have done better documentation of like what this wool like looked like before I spun it at all, but I didn't because I mess up sometimes. Now it'll be interesting to see if you can actually tell what that looks like at all. Can you see like how totally hairy? I don't think you can really appreciate how messed up they look. They look uber messed up. They're like super uneven looking. Well, maybe not super uneven. They're uneven looking. But I was like, I'm just going to trust it. I'm just going to do the long draw. Just going to see what happens. Because this, you know, this was like 4 ounces. I wanted it, but I was not married to it. You ask what this yarn might be. I would tell you I have no idea what this is. Like I actually literally have no idea what this is. I bought this at the Indiana Fiber event. And it was in the secondary barn, like not the biggest one. Like if you're going into the fiber event, it's not the one on the right, it's the one on the left. And it was on the right-hand side of the barn in the back. And I thought for the longest time that I knew who it was, and then I questioned myself, and so now I'm not really sure at all where I got this from. So, isn't that helpful? You didn't need to know any of that, but you did need to know that I have no idea what it is. But I'm super pleased with it. I think I'm really digging the, and this was definitely roving, not top. I'm with Schmiz. Like it totally looks like it's tweedy. Like it had stuff in it. But not like crazy stuff, just stuff. But I am digging the 3-ply long draw. Digging it! I totally like it. And it was super fast to do. Long draw is very fast. I know it's not as durable as worship. Fast. It's kind of where I need right now. I figured it's a hat. Okay. Totally gonna be a hat. Bam! What did I get? I did write down, I think I got like 150 or 100, yeah, like 150 to 160 yards, something like that. And I would say it's an Aran to a bulk. It's Aran, probably. Maybe bulkier than Aran. I don't know, whatever. Don't know what it's wool with stuff in it. Okay. Knitting. Yo. Okay. So I have been working on my chocolate stout by Tin Can Knits, which is also Thea Coleman. Yeah. I don't know, she puts Tin Can Knits on all of her stuff, so I'm just going to call her Tin Can Knits. I know she's a real person, and that's not her name, but that's what she's branding herself as, so I'm going to go along with it. Last time I saw you, I had just decided to be done with the, to split off for the fronts and backs under the armhole. I knit approximately 2 inches on the back. Looked at it in the mirror and decided I was going to take it back and make the sweater itself 2 inches longer. So now my sweater is actually the recommended length, which I never do. I always make my sweater shorter than the recommended length, which is interesting because I am 5'8", it's not like I'm mini, and I am kind of long-waisted. But I generally do not like sweaters that go... I like them to land above the widest part of my rump, which is a wide part. Okay. Like I definitely have the shelf butt. So I prefer the sweater to end like right here-ish, like right where we're starting to go out. Because when it ends at the widest part of my butt or lower, then it creates this like line. And it looks like I'm just hiding a bunch of secret fat in there. Which is no, that's fine. But it doesn't give me like that like whoop butt. Which I totally like my whoop butt. I'm even lying. I do. So I lose the whoop. So, can you tell it's totally late at night and I've been sewing way too much? Crazy. But, so I usually don't want my sweater to be like quite to the widest part of my butt because again, it creates that line and I think it makes me look bigger than I even am. So, I put this one on though in the mirror and because the stitch pattern is actually has quite, it's almost ribbed. You know what I mean? Like it has a ribbed effect and it is very stretchy. So when I tried it on, it looked fine, but then I dropped it down a little bit and it still conformed to my shape enough. Like it wasn't like clingy feeling, but it conformed enough to my shape that I thought it was very flattering to be longer. And then I thought, again, it kind of worked more with the actual overall intent of the sweater and my Angela Lansbury longings. Murder, She Wrote. Early seasons were the best. So I decided, even though I very rarely unknit, I usually am like, live with it. But I decided to take it back and make it 2 inches longer. So now I have like a very long sweater. Well, it's not very long, but I have a long sweater and I'm excited about it. Even though it's going to be like 97 degrees tomorrow. I haven't worked on them all. But so I'm almost ready though now, after that. I think I have like an inchish left. About an inch left before I start my actual shoulder shaping. I think that's right. So I'm almost ready for that. I'm totally... This sweater is so excessively warm. It's ridiculous. I don't care. It's going to be my coat, I think. At least until January-ish. I'm excited about it. This, of course, is Beaver Slide Dry Goods worsted. I'm knitting it on US 4s, which is stupid. But it's what I needed to get even close to gauge. What else do I need to tell you? Is that all? I think so. Oh, I have decided to make the, it is kind of like, it's not really a drop shoulder, but because it's close though. It's close to a drop shoulder. So I made mine a little bit narrower in the shoulder because I do have a tendency to have a narrower shoulder for my size anyway. And when I got to the back, the width it was supposed to be, it was like over here, like more like where a t-shirt would hit you. And I was like, So I shrinked that up a little bit. How did I decide how to do my armhole decreases then? Is that I went by the Ann Budd handy book of sweater patterns, or that modular one. That's how I decided to change it. Okay. I think that's all. Yes. Okay. Okay. Next work in progress is one that you have seen, but it's been a little while. I got back out my Brickless by Martina Behm. I was totally listening to the Knitmore Girls, and the mother was saying Martina Behm, and it made me love her so much. I wish I could copycat her Martina Behm pronunciation. Martina Behm. Anyway, more things you don't need to know about. So this is in fact by Martina Behm, Brickless. I am knitting mine with Briar Rose 4th of July base, which is 100% merino. It's a 4-ply. 1 ply is the darker ply than the other 3. And I have no idea what color this is. It does not say on the taggy tag. This is where I put a little thing. I put yarn. Okay, this is where I was last time I showed you. And now I've gotten that much more. There's no way to show you this. There's just no way. But we're just going to pretend. I'm just going to move it around a lot and make you seasick. So anyway, I'm enjoying it very much. I have definitely like the never-ending ball of yarn at this point. This is a big ball. This is a double. Like it's a 550 yards. It's an 8-ouncer. But that's what the pattern calls for. It just seems like it's worsted weight, and I'm on 7s. Like this thing should have been done forever ago, but for some reason, yeah, it's fine. It's a very enjoyable knit. If it weren't for the fact that I have a podcast, I wouldn't mind for it just to go on for a very long time and just work on it here and there. It's very pleasant, easy to remember, to pick back up. I dig it. So there's that. But I would like it to be, again, just for the sake of moving the show along. I wouldn't mind if it were done. I always feel really weird showing you things like over and over and over again. I try to, like, even though I'm not monogamous, I try to pick like a few projects to work on each week and make decent progress on, just so I'm not constantly showing you like all, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's probably makes you want to scratch my eyes out. Now I have 2 new things to show you because I'm crazy. What are they both? Hats, perhaps. Okay, so this is the first one, and I'll show you this one part first. So I was working on some brown merino when I was spinning last we spoke about spinning. I'm gonna do it again. Autofocus. That's exciting for you, right? Come on, autofocus. Bam. Okay, there we go. Something's happening now. So again, this is my actual first real life 3-ply. And it is 100% merino. It is roving versus top. Like it's a farm prep. There was some business in it. Some veggie matter and whatnot. I should not have turned off autofocus before I actually had it focus on my face. Oops. I did not bring the name of the farm I got this from. If you're interested, you can certainly ask me. The fiber was fine and great. It was very musty smelling, but after washing, that's completely gone. And there were no other problems with the fiber. I just forgot to bring the tag over. So what else did I show you? Again, 3-ply. I did the singles as long draw pretty much-ish. I kind of failed a couple of times and reverted back because I got scared. And then overplied what you would think is overplying, but totally not. It's very... In fact, this, I don't know if it's the roving because I didn't notice it as much. This maybe it's just, I haven't done a lot of merino spinning. I've done a superwash merino a couple of times, which I enjoyed. Maybe it's, I don't know, but this feels kind of flat. In the ball, it feels nice though. And then I'm enjoying the project. Yeah, never mind, I'm a liar, it's fine. It's not especially springy is all. But maybe that's, again, I haven't done a lot that it was strictly long draw. And this is my first, and again, it's very early in my 3-ply experience. So maybe it's just a combination of things. And it is very soft and it does not feel overly dense at all. Like this was a 4-ounce ball or 4-ounce bump of fiber. And I think I got like 260 yards or something like that. So it's not feeling, it doesn't feel dense or anything. I guess when I was plying it, it just felt kind of flat. But it maybe it just needs to be washed because, you know, I'm really touching it and I'm enjoying the way it feels in the cake. And I'm enjoying how it's knitting. So I guess that was just my reaction when I was actually plying it. I was a little bit nervous. So I am knitting with that. Lethal Knits. Her berry hat, by the way. But she's terribly cute. I mean, let's not, I'm not even pretending she's not terribly cute. But how much do I love that the hat's name is Berry? Just makes me happy. It's this one right here. I believe Leslie of the Knit Girls has made one very recently. Yes, because I believe that's where I first coveted it. And this is Lethal Knits, who is Lee Meredith. Of course, it's all sorts of fun things. And it's written in true her style. It is written for all yarn weights, so it's perfect for hand spun. What else did I tell you? You can either do a garter stitch version or a stockinette version. And really, I started knitting this. I had this vision of this hat on a person that I know, and I was just so in love with it. I actually spun this merino to go with this yarn that was a bath that I made with the lovely Joanna Spring of Knit Spin Farm. That was very generous of her to let me use her drum carder and her fibers. And then give me eggs. Gosh, she's so stinking nice. This is chain plied. So anyway, I saw this pattern originally on Leslie, and she had it kind of unbuttoned a little bit, so it was like more zhuzhy. And I was like, I saw it on her, and I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for that person. And now I'm knitting it. I'm not entirely sure that's perfect for that person, but I'm still enjoying it very much. I know, I love to just tell you way too much information, right? This is how much I have so far. And it is looking exactly like what I envisioned. I may have envisioned this brown being just a little bit darker, but other than that, I really wanted I knew that this would, that I wanted the background to be a slightly finer yarn than the foreground. That's the background and the foreground doesn't even make sense in this context. I mean, it does because I'm talking about texturally, and like this as a garter ridge, so it becomes the foreground, I guess, technically. But that may have not made any sense to you. But I wanted the main color to be a smaller diameter yarn in comparison to this contrasting color, because I wanted that ridge to be very, like, not just in color but also texturally, because this has some like crazy sari silk texture bumps in it, and you can see them too, especially on the wrong side. But anyway, so I'm totally digging it. You just measure it around your head to see, like, oh, is it big enough yet? Oh, is it big enough yet? Which is totally enjoyable. And then some shenanigans are going to happen with buttons. Excited. Whatever. I totally dig it. I'm liking it a lot. And I am knitting this on US 6s. No, 4s. That was totally not the same size. US 4s. Okay? Okay. I think that's all I have to tell you about that, right? It is a pay-for pattern. That's all I have to do. Okay, one more. I know, right? Crazy. I don't know what I was looking at Knit Picks for. Oh, I think I was looking for yarn for those slippers at one point. Oh no, I was looking for yarn for my husband for a sweater, which I did get yarn for him. I'll show you that in a minute. But I was looking at Knit Picks, and they have just introduced, well, to me, relatively recently, they have introduced a stroll version, which is their fingering weight sock tweed. I love tweed so bad. My first ever for me sweater, well, my first ever sweater was totally made with a tweed. It was Taki Doningale tweed. It was green. I love tweed so bad. It's ridiculous. So I had to try it out. And here it is. I'm knitting. This is not a pattern. I'm just making up. Because I was so in love with my. This is a, you know, I'll rip my eyeball out to show you. This is like a, you know, fold over brim. You use a provisional cast on with a crochet hook. I did my crochet onto the needle, and then I was so in love with it though that I needed another one. So I decided to make a stripy hat. These colors are the bluish color is Thirst Heather. It's kind of looking more washed out than it should. Maybe I come back here in sneaky style. That's about right. And then the brown is the Farmhouse Tweed. Now, if I were strictly making this hat for prettiness, I would have used a lighter brown, but the lighter brown is a khaki color, and khaki color next to my skin makes me look like a corpse. It would have been very pretty though. If you can pull off khaki, I highly recommend that color combination. But I can't pull it off. But okay, so I cannot speak at all for the durability of this yarn, obviously, at this point, but I dig this yarn. It is way softer than I thought it was going to be. It is, I should tell you fiber content. That'd be helpful, right? It is 65% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 10% Doningale. They're in 50-gram hanks, and I believe they're like $4.59 or $4.89. One or the other, I can't remember. 231 yards, 50 grams fingering weight. Machine wash gentle, tumble dry low. Is that everything to tell you? I think so. This will be great. Again, I cannot speak to durability yet. Sometimes, it is merino. But man, this will be great for baby knits. I mean, for me too. I may have ordered enough to make a sweater with. Maybe. I might have for myself. Whatever. I really like it. This color's very pretty too. So again, I really like the hand. I don't find it to be splitty at all. The neps are nice. They're mostly in wove or spun in relatively well. I mean, you can definitely pick them off. I don't know. I enjoy it. I'm digging it. So there it is so far. I knit the brim on 0s, and I'm knitting the body on 2s. There's the wrong side. I know I love the wrong side. So when I did my provisional, provisional cast on, I did waste yarn for the actual, like, but then for the first row I used the brown, because again I envisioned using the brown as this way. Although I don't know, maybe I should have used it this way, but I don't know, it's over now. It's okay. It's okay. So I did the first row with the brown, and then I did the blue for whatever, and like an inch and a half-ish. And then I did one row of brown knit, one row of brown purl. That was the flipping overness. Did the brown. And the reason I did the first knitting row with the brown is I like to do the join by the knit, like picking up the stitches from the provisional and then knitting the two together, like the front and the back, or this part and the hem, the knit two together, that through both. And I was afraid, I don't know that it would have shown, but I was afraid that if I did it in the blue, it might show to knit those two together. Would it? I don't know that it would, but I was concerned, so that's why I did that way. Yeah. It's adorable. Clearly everybody should have two hats on the needles. But it's 90 degrees outside. Plus, makes perfect sense. Okay. Okay, so let's talk briefly. We're going to have a knit along. Bronwyn, with her beautiful face, Bronwyn the Brave, of Knitting Pipeline and her own self fame, gave me an idea that we should have a Scrolling It Away cowl, which was brilliant. And she gave me this idea quite a while ago, but then I scrolled it away. Appropriate, correct? So now we're having one. It will be September and October. There will be a separate spinning thread and knitting thread. So if you spin something that was precious to you, you can enter it into the spinning thread and there will be fiber prizes. And if you knit something, you can enter the knitting thread and it will be knitting prizes. You can't, if it's spinning, you can't enter it in both unless you spin it and then knit it. Okay. Spinning has to be at least 2 ounces. Unless, yes, 2 ounces. It has to be at least 2 ounces. I'm like, unless the value of the fiber is $100 an ounce and you only have an ounce. And then, but no, 2 ounces. Not get into blue book value of yarns, fibers, whatevers. So the only rule is that you have to knit with something that's precious, that you've squirreled away. If you don't have anything you've squirreled away in stash, feel self-righteous for a minute. Go ahead. Okay. Then you need to go buy something that you have squirreled away in your mind as precious and use that. So I'm not going to like go check your stashes or anything. But it has to be precious. You have to covet it and pet it. Whether that be in reality or in your mind. It's okay, either way. Yeah. So it'll be September through October. And I'll show you prizes. These are prizes we have thus far. And these are all squirrel away worthy prizes. So you're like, I don't want to use my squirreling, my precious preciouses. Well, then you can earn more precious preciouses, maybe, potentially. Okay. First, spinning. Oops, it's got a thread on it, sorry. From the lovely Three Waters Farm. Now, you may remember that this was actually a prize donated for the Orange Cow, but then I kind of dropped the ball and did not get it posted in time. Sorry. This is a BFL, I believe. Yes, a Blue-Faced Leicester, 100%, and her Sorbet colorway. Isn't that pretty? It's very fluffy and wonderful. It smells like lavender because I've been protecting it. Then the beautiful Gail of Gail's Art has donated a braid of her Superwash Merino, 40%, Merino, 40%, 20% silk, 4 ounces, in the Fruity Undertones colorway. Look at that. And then, all right, you're so lucky. Query Fiber donated her Tin Stripe colorway. Look at that! Yay! Of course, you can double dip. Whoever else. Malia's having her special, like, do something new spin along. So if you've been hoarding a fiber that you were afraid to use. So again, it's Query Fibers. This looks beautiful. And this is 75% Superwash Merino, 25% nylon self-striping. Look at that. Self-striping is always the bestest thing to win ever. Oh, and my little tag fell off. Dang diggity. This is the highly coveted Lollipop yarn in the colorway Lazy Day. And the tag, I know where the tag is. It's over there. So those are your prices. There will be more. I promise. But that's a good start, right? Totally. So again, that'll be September through October. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. So exciting. Yes, so there's that. I do have a wee bit of, I bought this stuff. I'm going to show you because I'm braggy pants. Also because I love these people. And I want to show you their stuff so you don't think I don't love them anymore or something crazy. I was in the market for buying my husband yarn for a sweater. I made him the dude sweater a while back. I would say 3 years ago. Out of Eco Wool. And it's the dude sweater, but it's not really technically the dude sweater because he wanted a blue stripe instead of a brown stripe. I think he was just afraid I would fantasize that he was the dude. Anyway, that's a Big Lebowski, by the way. If you're not sure what that is. Sorry. Oh, but over time, he's worn it so much in the winter time because he's this big around. It gets very cold. Hee hee. We're like entering into my season of bliss and his like season of doom. It's a great like. He's worn it so much though that his literally like almost felted in the back. Like the back seems to be shrinking. So it's like perpetually like the back is like way above his waistline and the front's hanging down. I think he's really just worn it so much that it's just not felted, but something is happening which is making that happen. So I need to make him another sweater. So I was shopping quite a bit whether or not I should try to get a super wash. But really, even though he has a very dirty job, he's rather clean when he's home. He's not like me and just constantly have schmutz on him because I always have schmutz on me. I'm a hot mess. So I decided that I will go with a non-superwash wool because I would like to go with one of my very warm, like woolly, spunny yarns. So, was it Peace Fleece or was it Beaver Slide? Those were my choices. I went Beaver Slide because I haven't knit anything from him. And this is their 3-ply fisherman's wool. So this is technically listed as a bulky on Ravelry. They're suggested, I don't know, did they tell you? They do. They suggest it's 4 ounces, 3-ply heavy fisherman weight. Excuse me, 100% merino, 160 yards per skein, 3.5 to 3 3/4 stitches per inch on a size 8 to 10 needle. So I got a sweater's worth of that. Bam! Isn't that a pretty color? What color is this? Does it tell me? Hidden Lake. So I'm very excited. I've never knit with this weight of their yarn. I've knit with their worsted 2-ply and their sport, but I've never knit with this one. So I'm very excited. And I said it was a 3-ply, right? So that'll probably give a little bit more durability to 100% merino. I was a little concerned about the 100% merino for my husband because I'm just as nervous to make a 100% merino sweater at all because they get pilly in my life. But I'm going to just see how this goes. Hopefully it goes okay. Again, he doesn't have lots of stuff that rubs together, so it'll probably be safe for him. And then, kind of in enabling and kind of in faux book review / I got this, I'm going to show you. And I'm sorry, everybody's probably going to show you this, so I hope if you're not interested in this, let me make sure. Yes, I definitely will talk about nothing else after this. So, no sore feelings. So, this was released this week. Actually, it was released a little earlier than we thought. Oh, so exciting. It's, of course, by the same ladies whose beautiful faces wrote the Fleece and Fiber source book. The very specific pornography that made me start to spin. Thanks, ladies. Literally. This is why I started spinning this book. So they have made a field guide to fleece. You can see it's a much smaller version. And it's awesome! It's like the Playboy with none of the stories, just pictures. Kind of. So the theory behind this one, it is literally something you could throw in your book when you're going to Rhinebeck. or Estes or wherever you go, or the Michigan Fiber Festival. I hope it was wonderful. I'm sure it was. And you could just, you know, like, oh, I love this fleece. It seems to be a Leicester long wool. I wonder what I could do with that. Or I wonder if this is really what it's supposed to look like. Bam. It's organized differently than the Fleece and Fiber Source Book. The Fleece and Fiber Source Book is organized by, like, sheep family. This one is literally straight up alphabetical. So again, very handy to have for very quick reference. Like this Cormo. Bam. Cormo. I love Cormo. And I even looked about the tricky ones like CVM. Because I looked under CV, nothing there. So I looked it back in the index, because it does still have an index. Rommeldale. Bam. So I don't know, I really dig it. It has, you know, it has less information obviously than the Fleece and Fiber Source Book, but it still has your basic facts, you know, and what you can do with it. Very important when you're actually like at the festival and not sure what you can use a Cormo for. I keep turning to that. What's that about? When you're not sure what you can use a Pelsow for, because you've never even heard of it. Look at that. Everything is awesome. So it does, you know, and it tells you how it'll take dye. So again, the good, like, quick and dirties. You know, the Fleece and Fiber Source Book will also tell you, like, you know, again, it'll show you, I'm sure you all know this because you all have this, but it shows you much, you know, many more pictures of the actual fiber itself, what it looks like combed, what it looks like raw, what it looks like in different fiber preparations, what it looks like, you know, in different spinning preparations. So that is here. But I'm very excited about this one. Very excited. It was very affordable, less than $12 when you buy through Amazon, $14.95 retail, so you can very, you know. If I thought my LYS would get it, I would have waited. Cheviots. Anyway, I like how it is laid out. It is very clear and consistent. Like, you know, we have a same texture background on everything. It varies in color, but the same texture. And I just like that it looks, has the same border on every page. I enjoy it. I'm trying to think of anything else I need to say about it. It has, the quality of the cover is more like an, I'm not sure exactly how it would hold up in, like in a fiber bag. I'm pretty sure it would take a beating. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, but that would be my only, and it may hold up better than I think it will. Love that. Very excited. And that is all at 50 minutes. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I hope you all have a lovely week. This is me thinking to make sure. I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you. There's not. And I will talk to you next time. Bye. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.